Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to come to you today with a new take on the classic Ackbar build, with the specifics of trying to be the second player. So earlier in the lifespan of this game, once Ackbar came out, a lot of people were running a home one with two assault frigates, and that was kind of the basic formula. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go with the cheaper MC-80 command cruiser here. I'll put Admiral Ackbar on there, and I am going to give this home one to support those other ships. We're going to do a few different things with it, though, but let me put my other two assault frigates out there. Now, I am going with the Assault Frigate Mark II-B, and this is going to be a little bit of experimentation with this build, and I'll explain my reasonings. But for the first Mark II-B, I am going to have some squadrons in this build. I'm not going with a fourth ship, but I'm going to go with flight controllers. I love flight controllers. This will allow me to hit 3 squadrons and give them an extra blue die each. So that much is great. I am going to add one of the newest upgrades. I'm going to give this thing disposable capacitors. It only gives it a single extra blue die, but if we're attacking twice, then that's great. And you're probably thinking, well, how come you're not, how come you're using your weapons team as for squadron support instead of gunnery team? Because typically gunnery team is by far the best option here. I'll explain that, and then the reason for that is for objectives. I'm going with the Paragon title. This is a title I don't really use very much. Usually it's used best on an assault frigate that's trying to double arc another ship. I've used to use Paragon on an assault frigate Mark II-A with spinal armament when that came out. This way I kind of made all of my arcs the same, and anytime I could double arc somebody, it was great. But I found it not flying assault frigates all the time. It was a little bit tricky for me to line those up. So I think that's something that could work if you're really good at just feeling out the assault frigate and predicting where your opponent's going to be and lining up those double arcs. Now the second assault frigate is going to be a little bit more standard because we are going to give the second one gunnery team. And we're also going to give disposable capacitors to this one. And we're going to maximize the side arcs with enhanced armament. I'm going to also go ahead and give this guy Gallant Haven because we are going to have some squadrons. And since he may have to be a little bit farther out to help those squadrons, we're going to give him Lando Calrissian. Now, this one can be changed up. You don't have to necessarily put Lando on this guy. You can swap those points around if you want to. So there's some other options for the last 4 points, but this was the last 4 points I had in the build. So there are some options for it. You could one option is to maybe go with Hondo for only 2 points, and then maybe Ahsoka on another ship. But I'm going with Lando for right now. Hondo's actually a pretty fun character. We don't have too much that really needs tokens here. I mean, there's some options though, like engineering tokens might be good once the assault frigates start taking fire, and the Paragon could potentially use an extra squadron token with flight controllers. So there's definitely options there. But I'm going to let's add some squadrons now. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm going to push this build all the way up to 400 points. The reason that I'm doing that is because the meta has gotten a lot more competitive, at least where I am, as far as people having a low bid to try to become first player. And it's almost that we're always constantly trying to one up each other now. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to throw all that to the wind and just max out on points and say, sure, you can come in with, a 20-point initiative bid. That's, that you could fit a whole flotilla in for that. But I'm going to just max out on points and try to get everything I can get. So I'm going to use 3 VCX 100s and 2 Z95s. This brings me to 400 points. But this gives me a couple of things. First off, the Z95s are very, they're fragile, they're weak, I get that. But they don't have bomber. So I don't need to worry about giving them something like Bomber Command Center. But the 3 red dice combined with the blue die from flight controllers is very, very nice. I like it a lot. And their squishiness combined with Gallant Haven might help them survive just a little bit more. And I really just need these guys for defense. And Gallant Haven can help keep them alive. There are other ways. Jan Ors would also be helpful, but I just can't fit her right now. That's no problem. VCX is really the thing that's going to help me out here. The VCX is, I've got 3 of them, and I took these guys not really for relay, but I took them for strategic. Relay is an option, but I took them for strategic. And what I'm going to be doing here is maximizing the ability of the second player in that I am going to have some objectives that are really, really nice. So let's jump into my objectives. First off, I'm going to go with advanced gunnery. Now, this is almost a surefire way to ensure that somebody doesn't pick this objective. Usually, people always expect you're going to put it on the MC-80 command cruiser. But I wanted to have some fun here, and I wanted to try and put it on the Paragon. And this way, I would be able to attack twice with disposable capacitors at the same target and add a black die. And the reason that this is better than putting it on the home one, at least in this experiment, right? Granted, you have way more dice with the home one. I understand that. But the home one doesn't have the ability to modify its own dice. So if you roll 3 blank red dice, it's a complete waste. However, over here, we do have the ability to modify. We can get the accuracies in. And that's really great. It's very good being able to, handle the bad red dice. So Paragon will be able to do that. Paragon also gets the extra black die for the second attack. It'd be nice if you could do that on both attacks, but it's an awful lot of points for one die for one attack. But that's all right. But that's the idea, is that I'd try to put it on the Paragon. And also the other advantage there is that if they are able to blow up the ship, they don't get all the points from the MC-80. Because they're going to get an extra die when they're attacking the ships. So it's up to you. You definitely have options. Some people may still say, no, it's still worth it to put it on the MC-80. I understand that. I definitely do, but that's kind of the point of putting Paragon on here, is so that I could put it on here and surprise them with an extra black die. And both shots having the home one bonus. So you're really going to get a lot of damage in there, especially if it's at long range and I'm able to hit disposable capacitors, roll the 3 red, plus 2 more red, plus a blue, and then the next shot also plus a black. I get accuracy on both of them. I think you get the picture. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it'd be different. I don't see that done. I don't see that done very much, and it could surprise some people. So generally, though, with 2 ships that could really benefit from advanced gunnery, I don't think they're going to choose advanced gunnery. So if we're going to go into the blues, and then we have Salvage Run. I'm saving the yellows for last. So Salvage Run puts a whole bunch of obstacles in the middle, and then you're going to have 4 tokens that are going to be at 20 points each for 80 points. Now, with these 3 VCXs, I can send them directly in to these objectives and start pushing them back towards me. At this point, I'm guaranteed, virtually guaranteed, to get all of these tokens, no problem. So this is guaranteed 80 points for me right away. And I have fairly tough ships. The assault frigates might be able to die, or they might kill 1 or so, but I'm going to have 80 points, and I'm going to do some damage to them beforehand too. So this is a surefire win against a lot of builds. So hopefully they don't take Salvage Run, right? And then last but not least is Fire Lanes. Fire Lanes is one of my favorite objectives to use with strategic, because I can put all 3 of these together, and then I can just set my ships to go really, really slow, and then I can even move the objectives behind me so that I've got all my ships pointed at the at the tokens, and then I can just keep the VCXs, making sure that my opponent doesn't get a single objective. Once you can get well over 100 points easily with Fire Lanes and strategic. So Fire Lanes is amazing. The only thing you run the risk is that somebody's going to charge right at you and go for those tokens with maybe a Liberty or Imperial Star Destroyer or 2. But you've got so much firepower with Ackbar here that if they do, they'll probably die. So that's kind of what we're going for here. But I would love to hear what you guys think, guys. If you think that, I'm actually curious where you would put advanced gunnery if they choose that, because now all of a sudden your opponent has a really tough choice. And of course, if you guys are tied and you get the choice, you want to probably choose something that has the most tokens. And a really cool option that some people pick is Minefields. And if you've got all these strategic ships, then you're going to totally be able to just push their own mines against them. It's very fun. The only thing that this is really lacking is somebody with intel to be able to, because your VCXs can get tied up with other squadrons. The defense against that is that hopefully you're just keeping them close to your own ships. So it's going to take a couple of turns before their squadrons can get to you. And then the other thing is that you're just hoping that they don't, that they don't get all the way to you, and that your flight controllers can blow them up. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think of the build, and let me put it up here for you. You guys have a wonderful day, as always. Thank you so much for watching.